welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about shallowing and why it usually isn't done on purpose. It's more a reaction. So if you've been a player that's been trying to manually shallow the club by doing weird things with your arms and body to try and get it in a shallow position, it may be that what you're doing in your backswing is not letting you do that in the downswing. So one of the main reasons that players naturally shallow the golf club without even thinking is how they move the club in the backswing, and then the club shallowing is a reaction to that movement. And one of the main reasons that a lot of amateurs cannot shallow the club and it steepens a lot in the downswing is that they make bad movements in the backswing and then they need to react in order to try and get the club back on the golf ball at all. The only way to do it is to steepen the shaft. So quickly, just as a recap, if you don't know what shallowing or steepening is, basically shallowing the club would be, if I was to take this alignment stick just to show and demonstrate, I've got another alignment stick on the ball line here. Shallowing the club would be, as that club is coming down, the club is going more horizontal, as opposed to steepening would be it going more vertical. And you'll hear people talk about center of mass of the club. Basically that is just where the balance point of the club is. So in here somewhere, wherever that club just balances. So right here, center of mass close to the club head, that point is not moving out in line with the hands, it's moving behind the hands. So that would be the difference between steepening and shallowing it. So if you are someone who has been really trying their hardest to shallow the club coming down for whatever reason, the main thing that you need to look at is your backswing position, and specifically halfway back, to see where the club shaft is in that position. So one of the main mistakes that players make as they get halfway back, their club is in a shallow position in the backswing. Now the reaction to it being too shallow, where this alignment stick points out above the golf ball or on top of the golf ball, the reaction from there is to then steepen it, because our brain knows it's too shallow, so we then need to steepen it to try and get the club back on plane and come back to the golf ball. So no matter how hard you try to then shallow it, if you're shallow going back, your brain is going to fight, because the ultimate thing that you're trying to do is hit the golf ball. It doesn't care if you're then shallowing it, it's just going to do what it needs to do to get that club back on the ball. So one of the main things that I would say you need to do to allow the club to shallow is give it the incentive to do that by halfway back having the butt of the club. So if the laser was coming out the butt of the club, the alignment stick, it is pointing on the ball line or slightly inside the ball line. You'll see some players where it's crazy and it's like here, and then it drops and shallows to here. That would be like a Matt Wolf or like Ryan Moore years ago. They're very steep in the backswing, and then they shallow it a lot coming down. So that would what we call a non-planar swing. A planar swing would be more like an Adam Scott or Tiger Woods, where the club is just working up that line and then coming back down that line. And there's advantages and disadvantages to both. Planar is not usually going to create as much speed as a non-planar. However, planar is going to be a bit more consistent, especially in like wedge shots, where we don't have a long enough swing to be doing all this movement. So it really just depends on the player and kind of what they can do when they swing. But if you are looking to get any sort of shallowing in the swing, one of the main things you need to focus on would be that halfway back position. So lead arm is parallel with the ground, and then getting the butt of the club to point on that ball line. Because now, if I then go up to the top of the backswing in that position, the brain thinks it's already steep, so then I'm going to react by letting it fall and shallow coming down, If I go back shallow, I'm going to react and go the opposite way. So an easy drill you can do is just use the alignment stick on the butt end of the club, just to train yourself where that position is halfway back. Then you can get rid of the alignment stick and just imagine there's a laser beam coming out the bottom of the club, and do some swings where you feel as though that points down. Or if you really want to exaggerate it to get the feel as though the butt of the club is pointing at your shoes, and do some swings where you react and let it fall and swing through and hit some shots like that. So that would be a really easy way just to kind of train yourself to give yourself the best chance of the club naturally shallowing as a reaction, rather than trying to manually do things in the downswing to try and get it in that position. So that would be the easiest thing you could do, rather than all the crazy stuff you see people do with their arms and moving their body in different positions. Sure, some of these things happen, but if we can make it more natural and reactive, then that's going to be the easiest way. So as always, thanks for watching, thanks for your time. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.